Hello everyone, and welcome back to Lilyrow Gardens. I have my helper here today. She won't leave us alone. But I wanted to do a video indoors, obviously, today on houseplants. Before I start that, I wanted to update on winter sowing. I did finish up the winter sowing, but I received a comment from a fellow YouTuber, Nick Thomas, with Garden Mac, and he has a little different method, the same thing of sewing in milk jugs, except he eliminates the use for the tape around the edges. And he just cuts his jugs regularly and just fits the top around the bottom. And I did try that method and it does work. I found for myself, I have to make sure I cut the bottom, give at least this much space. If you cut it too small and this is all you have on your base, then the top just keeps popping off. Anyway, so I will attach a link to his video to the winter sewing video, and then you can check him out too. But again, there are so many methods on that, and it was just fun and experimenting with it, and all my jugs are outside right now, and I'm probably going to do a few more as I scrounge out some more empty milk jugs. Anyway, I don't know if I said what the date was. Today is January 31st, 2022. Again, I am in Middle Eastern PA, just about 45 minutes north of Philadelphia area. So that's the area where I garden in Zone 6B. It's been cold and snowy, and so outside I've been getting out and checking on things, but not much to do outside yet. I did start a few seeds indoors, Lisianthus and what is it? I can picture it in my head and it's escaping me completely. Eucalyptus. And they both came up. Now the Lisianthus is like a tiny green speck of green on the soil, but the eucalyptus, I thought I would have to wait weeks before that would germinate, but it germinated in a week. And it actually germinated before the Lisianthus, so I haven't killed them yet. They're growing good, and I'm hoping the eucalyptus will just follow along with that. That is the one I really would like to get some nice hardy plants out of. But anyway, we're waiting right now to start our February indoor seed starting. A couple more weeks. Maybe I'll get the itch and start it next week. But as much as I would like to start some more seeds indoors, you have to time it right so they're not spending too long inside before you can plant them outside, because that's not good for them either. Anyway, so today we're going to talk about houseplants, and I am not new to houseplants. I haven't had this much variety before. In the fall I started to pick up on and try to start doing some different things, and over the years I've been intimidated by them. Also, you know, it's one of those things where you go to the greenhouse and you see these beautiful plants, some of which are a $20 to $30 investment, and you think, oh, do I want to take the maintenance of that on, go home and then have it die? And not knowing exactly what I was doing, but I've always been drawn back to them and wanting to try them and wanting to go further with that. And you know, I've had people say I can't keep any plants alive. Well, I think whether you have what people call a green thumb or not, if you love it and you would like to have plants inside, you can do it. Not everything's going to be a success in life, and you just got to have the spirit of keep on trying and do what you love and just give it a whirl. You never know. So I'm going to go through my plants on the table and just show you some of the varieties that I've really come to enjoy and like. Now, I'm going to start with this right up here is my violet. And I think I got this maybe at Lowe's or Home Depot for $2-3. It was a tiny plant. I think this one is probably 3 years old. I stick it, I'm in my living room, I stick it right over there. It's a north facing window. I don't even I put it on a little table there, and for some reason violets love it there. I water it once a week, usually at bedtime when I realize it needs water, and I just stuck whatever's left from my glass in there. I don't water on top of the leaves. I water right down here. I lift the leaves up so I keep the leaves dry. And this just flowers regularly for me. In fact, it's got some flowers right here coming on. It's I probably cut the last flowers off right before Christmas. So that is my violet. And violets, some people say, are tricky. I think if you find the right place for them and you get in a rhythm with them, I don't fuss over them. I just kind of enjoy them and they reward me for it. So that's my violet. I'm going to put this down here when I'm done so I don't redo. Then this year, now I've been gifted, these are Amaryllis. I've been gifted Amaryllis before Christmas. I've planted them thinking, oh, these things are going to grow. They did well. But then I've just kind of gotten rid of the bulb. This year I'm not doing that. I wanted to do some more indoor bulbs, and I've already grown a few Amaryllis. Now they can be quite pricey. My first bulb, which is right here, that already has bloomed and is now a healthy plant, I picked up at Tractor Supply way back in, must have been September. I'm pretty sure it was end of September, maybe beginning of October. It was $6.99. And if you see them for that price and you've never tried Amaryllis before, just get it. Because you can pay upwards of $20 for one bulb, depending on what variety it is. I also found a few other ones at Lowe's before Christmas. They were not packaged right, they were not growing, so that Lowe's just kind of discounted them. I think I paid $5. It came with a pot. They were already potted, but I repotted them because they were all coming out of the soil. But they did bloom, and they bloomed nicely for me, so I have those as well. And then I got these at a higher end garden center called Terrain. I had never heard of it before. I just popped in there. It's down by Philadelphia way. I'd gone to Longwood Gardens and I popped in there on the way home and I got these. These were $10 a piece for the bulbs, and I potted these up right before Christmas. And as you can see, they just came out of their they just opened up. This one opened up, I want to say almost 2 weeks ago. This one last week, and this one, I love it. It's just a pure red. It's beautiful, and this one's pretty too, but I think this is very similar to the $6.99 one that I bought, and then I spent $10 on this one. Anyway, this one, you can see this flower is done, and all you have to do is pull it right off. I waited for the video to show you that. Pop it right off. You're done. It's got another one coming on here. Now, some of the bulbs, I think depending on the size of them, they will have another stalk that comes up and blooms. It doesn't look like either of these will have another stalk. This one had 2 bloom stalks. So again, if you see these boxes, gift boxes at around September for under $10, and you want to try it, pick one up. I heartily recommend it. And then what I'm going to do is leave these grow as houseplants, and after our frost, I'm going to plant them outside in the garden. And then next fall, I will watch the YouTube video that explains how to dig them up, bring them inside, and get them ready to bloom again. But I'm one step at a time. Anyway, so that's my Amaryllis, which is a lot of fun to grow, and they're just beautiful for a flower in your home this time of year. I also planted these Paperwhites, and I planted these the same time as those, and they're coming up very nicely. Unfortunately, they stink, and my husband won't let me keep them in the house. So what I will do is in the spring, I will plant them outside, and then they can come up next year outside in spring. But you can see I just stuck them in. This doesn't even have any drainage in the bottom. I just stuck them in there and started watering them, put them in a sunny spot, and we have a couple in the back who aren't quite doing as well as the other ones, but they came up nicely. And then this one I just stuck in this container with rocks, and you don't want water to come up above the bulb, but I've just been keeping about a line of water into here, and this one is doing very nicely too. Now I've heard that there are Narcissus bulbs or Paperwhite bulbs that you can get that don't smell as badly. If I can find them, I will probably retry it again indoors, but indoors they do have a very, and I think they mess with your sinuses too. They're very strong. One of those flowers, kind of like a hyacinth in the spring, and some of those I just can't bring into the house because of allergies and such. So that's those. Next, let's go with this one. This is called a prayer plant, and I got this one for, I think it was under $5. It was small. It was probably about this much. This shoot wasn't hanging off of it, and I've enjoyed it. I like the variegation. I like the color of it. I water it once a week. It's easy. It's not in full sun. In fact, I moved it around trying to find the best spot for it. It probably is getting used to being shuffled about. But anyway, I finally landed on one spot. I'm going to leave it there. But another thing that I would like to say too is make sure your pots have drainage in them. I am not expert at plants, expert enough to do plants without drainage yet. And if you're new to it, don't even go there. So either if you're going to have a pot that does not have a hole in the bottom of it, which they sell, keep your plant in the nursery pot, and when you water it, take it out and then stick it back into that pot. Don't let it sit in standing water. So this plant is a Croton, and I bought this over the summer. Somebody just had it out in front of their shop, and it was already potted in this pot. I liked the pot, so I think I paid maybe $6, $7 for this in the pot. But then I was at, was it Home Depot or Lowe's? I'm not sure, one or the other, and I found this one, which is the same plant, only larger, and it was priced down, it was at Home Depot, priced down to $3. So I picked it up, and when I see that, it was in very good shape. I think they were just trying to make room for other plants. For a $3 investment, if I kill it, even if it lives for a month, and I can enjoy it for that long. But this has been around for a few months, and it's happy. I have it on the floor right over here, so it just adds color, and this one will eventually get to that size, I'm thinking, but right now I have this on a windowsill. Moving along, let's see what's next. This is my one I wanted to talk about last because I wanted to show you something specifically with that. Snake plant. And this is in the succulent family. I wanted to say sansevieria, but I'm still learning my succulents. Snake plants are supposed to be one of the easiest plants. I think they're nicknamed iron plant because it's very difficult to kill them. And this one is very, I think this one's very pretty. I have another one, and it's even got a little pup on the side here. Lowe's, again, before Christmas, had 3 of these pots with 3 different succulents in them. They started out for 3 for $15. I bought them when they were 3 for $15. A few weeks later, I went back in, they were 3 for $10. Bought them then, and then I was in Lowe's with my husband last week, and they're down to 3 for $5, but they only have 1. They're all the same succulent now. But still, the pot alone is worth $5, and it came with a hole in the bottom of it. So that is my snake plant, which I do enjoy. It can handle low light, and it's very low maintenance. Succulents are one of my new favorite plants, which I'm going to do a different video on those because it's too much to cover in one video, though I am touching on some of my favorites, which is this one and this one, which is called a Panda Plant. And this is just one of my favorite succulents. The leaves are soft and fuzzy, and that's not why but I just like it's a succulent, however it's texturally like a soft plant as well. And this one is just gone gangbusters, and last week or a week ago I cut off a shoot of it and just stuck it in a more soil, and it will grow a whole new plant, which is a wonderful thing about succulents. They are very easy that way. But again, we'll talk about that another time. But while I'm on the succulents, I wanted to show you, I made this before Christmas, and this has quite a few succulents. I've been growing my collection of succulents since the summer, but this is my little under the sea succulent garden. I had got this container at a thrift store for maybe $2-3. I drilled holes in the bottom of it, put cactus soil in it, and then I just potted it up with different succulents, and it's already, I wouldn't say the succulents have doubled in size. Some of them have, but it's just a fun, succulents are a fun thing to work with. And if you are definitely interested in houseplants, which probably most of you have already gotten a whole bunch of succulents. I'm usually late in all these trends, but I really like them. So that's my succulent arrangement, one of them anyway. And then I think I have another one right here behind me that has some more different varieties in. And there's just so many things you can do with them. One more succulent. So this is a ice plant, and actually the first time I got this plant was maybe 3 years ago at a you can buy them in the spring and summer at garden nurseries. I got it down by Lancaster, and the last 2 years I didn't bring it indoors, and it obviously died. But it's wonderful if you're going to do baskets, if you want a drapey flower, or containers. What I want to say, containers outside in the summertime, and it just spills and drapes so beautifully. And so it actually came in this container, and I kept it outside, and I thought, I'm just going to bring it in. I have it hanging on the wall in my entryway so it gets plenty of sun. If I put it under grow lights, it will actually bloom little pink flowers. But right now what I'm doing is just taking cuttings off of it. As you can see, I put them all around here. There's some around this one. Really all I do is I snip it and I stick it in the dirt, and it roots itself around a node where the leaves are attached. And So I will have plenty of these for my containers this summer, and it looks really neat on the wall over winter. And then I just stuck another succulent in there. Then I think of one more, and this is called a Crown of Thorns. I had never, was not aware of this one before. I saw it in at a local nursery. I think I got this one in September, and beginning of September. I think I paid about $7 for it, not knowing what it was, but I liked the Crown of Thorns. It's named after the crown of thorns that Jesus wore when he was crucified. So I thought it would be a neat plant to just try. It's very thorny along the stem, but as it grows, the leaves turn yellow, and I've just pulled them off. But this has not stopped blooming. It just grows taller, and then it sends off new blooms. And if you can see, it's this really pretty yellow bloom, and I believe they do have other colors of this. But I've just enjoyed this little plant. I keep it right on the windowsill right here. I water it once a week, and it's moist. The soil's moist right now, so I'll let it dry out. And it just keeps growing taller and taller and flowering nonstop. This is how it's looked, only shorter when I bought it, and it still looks the same. So one more before I end up. I forgot to show you my mess up. Let me put that back there. So this is my work in progress. So I was at Longwood Gardens. If you're not familiar with Longwood Gardens, it's about 45 minutes from here, and were having a plant sale. Their students, they were having a plant sale, and I bought this ribbon fern, and I believe this is a button fern, Then I brought them home, and I potted them in this pot that I had gotten at thrift store again, and I did drill holes in the base. Well, my ribbon fern was so beautiful, and I loved it, and it's now crunchy. So I don't know if it'll come back or if it's a complete fail. And at any rate, I'm learning, and it's the other plants. This is a begonia, a Rex begonia, and that I took off another plant and just plopped in here. And I think it's a little too moist right now. And then the ivy's happy, and the button fern is pretty happy. So I did a little research. I could have had this in too bright of light. Ferns apparently don't like that. But again, it was a few dollars. It was maybe $5, I think, for the plant. And it's a learning experience. Who knows, it might rejuvenate. We'll see. Some of the leaves are still a little soft. But I want you to be encouraged and just try it. Don't be afraid to step out of your comfort zone, and don't be discouraged if it doesn't always work out. Just enjoy God's creation and I wanted to bring some life into the house for winter, because it can be long and the days are shorter, and it's just been enjoyable to nurture and to grow these plants. And while I don't have a complete jungle in here yet, I have tucked them in all over the place and have been enjoying them. So I hope you're having a good last day of January. We're heading into February tomorrow, and we will do some more planting. Thank you. Have a good afternoon.